Hello there everybody and welcome to my beginner's guide for Songs of Conquest. In this video I'll give you a complete tour about all the mechanics and things that you need to know to dive right into the game and enjoy yourself. So we're going to talk about the whole gameplay loop, get it all covered, and I'm going to give you the best impression that I can why I'm pretty sure that you will love this game if you ever had any love for the Heroes of Might and Magic series. That being said, let's get started with a map that we can play on. On the Conquest mode, we can get ourselves a random map that we're going to use. The campaign mode is also very accessible for newcomers, as the first missions are very easily playable, but for the sake of explaining everything, I'm going here for a 2-player random map. I'm also going to roll for a random faction because heck, why not? We're going to set up ourselves a easy AI. You can make it really easy because we're a beginner's tutorial here. Let's do this. You can of course go for whatever map tickles your fancy. We're going to use this. So Songs of Conquest is a turn-based mixture between RPG, economy sim, and turn-based combat game. If you are vaguely familiar with the Heroes of Might and Magic series, you would be very easily into all this. But here we are. So what we see here is our current empire of sorts. We have here a town of ours. We have here the hero that we start with. We have up here our resources and the minimap. Down here we have a quick access to our city, and we see our turn and the enemy turn. So quick explanations. Up here we see what kind of units our dude has. We can get with this area here into the character sheet of your wielder. Those are the heroes in this game. You see a lot of data on that, his equipment, his skills, and more about that in a hot minute. And we can also check out the spell book here, which will be pretty cool if you want to pre-browse the stuff that you can cast. You see here that there is a lot of glimmering and gleaming treasures around. If you hold down left alt, you can now see what everything is, and the green things here note out the current maximum range of the activated hero. Other heroes that we will gain will be listed down here. The resources that we see up here are really important, and therefore all the stuff that we see around us is really important to pick up. But to be able to conquer the world, as we see here, there's a group of hostile troops. We need our own troops. Currently, we have only those 2 guys. They're from the big troops, but it is really not enough. So, your city is surrounded by building spots. So when you left-click one of these, you can select what you want to build there. There's small, medium, and large building slots that give you all different troops or buildings that give you troops and other things. Your settlement can also be directly upgraded by investing gold, stone, and wood. It increases the income, but more importantly, it also increases the amount of build sites, and I strongly recommend you to always go for the highest possible level of settlement. You can here also recruit other wielders, so these are racial heroes, and you can select what kind of dude you want from here. But to be able to have more than one hero, your city needs to be upgraded further. So on level 3, we will gain the right to hire another wielder. A very important thing. Among the buildings that we can build, for every faction, there's 4 in total, are among the small buildings always 2 buildings that yield low tier units. Then there is a gold building, a stone building, and a lookout tower that allows you to recruit more troops and have troops stationed to defend your city. The last building is always one that allows you to draw troops from different cities, so you don't have to move troops erroneously between one city and another. This building is present for every faction. It's named differently, but it is what you need to have primary access to all of your stuff there. In the medium tier, as you can see here, these buildings take 2 rounds. You also gain access to 2 different building houses, or however you want to call them, factories, and no, 3 it is, sorry, 3 in total, and there's always also a marketplace. At this point, the game forces you to specialize in what kind of stuff you want to build, and in large slots, let's cover that real quick, you always have your strongest troops and a research facility in 2 flavors. Research in this game allows you to enhance all manner of different things, but more about that later. So let's finally start adventuring. The very most important things early on to do are to upgrade your settlement and get yourself some troops going. So we're going to get ourselves some hunters, build that, and as you see now, next turn, that building will be finished. We are now very, very interested in gathering wood and stone and gold. If you double right click on something, you go fast. If you just if you triple right click on something, or right click while the hero is moving, then you can move very fast. You have also a very fixed amount of movement points. You see that over here every turn, and once your turn is done, you go on the check mark here or press E. So we have built our first building, and now we can continue on the next one. Let's see what we are missing here. Some gold and some stone. Like I said, and I can't stress it out enough, upgrading your base thing is extremely important and yields a lot of other benefits. So apart from that, we are trying to avoid combat wherever we can early on. We're now looking for stone and wood. Not seeing any here, so you can hold down Alt again to check on out. But we are also looking for these here, caged prisoners and camps. This is where you can get yourself some free troops. This is very, very powerful. Abandoned carts also have a chance of getting yourself some resources that you might need. And down here, there are also buildings that also have lots of different things that can happen there. Let's go to the large camp, show you what I mean. So here at camps and prisoner stuffs, you always get, like I said, those free troops. There's also farmhouses, which are claimable buildings. As you see now, there's that flag of ours now on it, which depicts that we're now gaining permanent income from these. This way we can crank up our industry and we keep building things. Don't miss out on building each turn like I did there. It is, especially early on, very important. So the medium buildings have all a caveat. No matter which troop you want to have, they have all buildings can be upgraded. The tier 2 buildings have always a requirement of the tier 1 buildings. So if you want to have these guys upgraded, you'll require gatherers. So you might want to know that and prepare that beforehand. We are now just going to go for the shaman tent. And every one of these buildings can be directly upgraded. Every upgrade of a building upgrades the quality of the troops they henceforth spawn. A tier 2 troop is really, really powerful and is nothing to be trifled with, and therefore it's very, very much worth it. So let's rack up some troops and just pick up things. Here we have now picked up our first item, but I really want to focus now on getting some troops together and showing you what you should be looking for as quick as possible. Random events sometimes happen. Here we saw a beneficial one. We got ourselves some free shamans, and just like that, we got ourselves already a pretty decent army together. So you see here that there are roads. Roads usually lead to points of interest. So we're now going into our city, draft troops, so we can get ourselves some new guys. We don't have troop slots available here, as you see there. These are locked and need to be unlocked via level ups, but that's no biggie. We're now going to go and follow one of those roads. You will eventually find the materials that you require to expand your city, usually at the end of a road. So let's get ourselves that. You can also install the diggers or gatherers, or however they are called for your current faction, to get yourself the materials that you require. So here we see we are unlucky. We can't now go the other way around, or you can't just pick up everything. It's up to you. It's just want to point out that gathering materials does take a while. So that is what we've been looking for. Here's a lumber camp, and I guess either this way or that way you'll also find a quarry. There is always these buildings in the vicinity of your city, and these are the ones that I've been looking for, and that's why I wanted to scout around. Alright, let's get into our first combat. You should always try to get a threat level mostly at fair, and here we now get to select where our troops should be. Your ranged troops belong in the back line, your melee troops belong in the front line. Here we have these guards as melee troops. If you don't know whether or not they are ranged or melee, you can just hover them. If they have a ranged offense tag, they can shoot. Alright, let's get into this. So here's the combat. You see everything is divided in hex fields, and over there are the enemy troops, over here are our troops. Down on the timeline we see how everybody is going to move. There is also a resource called essence being generated by every troop of yours every turn. This is basically your mana. So that means guards produce 1 blob of creation mana each turn. The Ethdraw that we got produce 1 blob of arcana essence, and the shamans, because they're very magical, even get to create 1 blob of creation and arcana. So the magic works like that. There is spells for every school. So we have, check there, we have creation mana and arcana mana, or essence, correctly pointed out. So we can use this spell tree, and that is accessible for us. This uses pure arcana essence, and this uses pure creation essence. But there's also these hybrid spells. So all of the hybrid spells that use now creation and arcana are for us accessible too, and you see there's a lot of hybrid spells. This is the entirety of the spellbook, and you can also put things on your quick bar to have them quicker accessible. So there's that. You can always hover over the enemy troops to see how far they can move, and then you hold down left alt that we used on the world map already. We can also see all the enemy movement radius thingies. So we are going to end our turn here because troops cannot wait. They only can end their turn or act. So some troops have special abilities. So here this guy is able to shoot at the very first enemy moving into his range of attack, and therefore we're going to utilize this. Enemy fields archers themselves, so we can safely just sit it out. You must find your own strategies, of course, for each and every one of these situations. Here, the longer we sit there, the more mana we gain, which is pretty good, because that means we are able to cast more and more spells. So, here is also another mechanic called high ground. If the archers gain the ability to move on over there, they will have a substantial bonus in their attack and defense. And these guys had to reload a turn. So we also see here really nicely that this game has a lot of terrain things. So we're going to use Dimensional Door to help our guards overdo this place. And now, if you ever do anything, you can also keep your mouse cursor over there to get a proper readout about why things happening, how they're happening. As you see there, we now see that the high ground also gives us for our melee troops some bonus, and we gain some bonuses because we have higher offense than the enemy has defense. Right click to attack, and that is a pretty decent moment. So we go over there, and as you see, your ranged troops gain a lowered damage if they move. Some ranged troops don't have that. This is a ability called mobility. And, well, it really is very different. Every troop is very different, and when you mouse over them here like that, it really pays off to read the tooltips of your enemies as close as you can, because there is a wealth of information out there. Okay, so here this fight is being made much harder by the terrain, but sometimes it's like that. Sometimes a terribly easy fight can become artificially more hard because of terrain issues. But this is how combat plays out. It's up to you to find a formula that yields you the least losses while killing the enemy fast. You must find a mixture between melee and ranged units, and if I can give you any tip up front, don't try to make the mistake to only rely on one type of attack. You need both of them. So this is the lumber camp that we have claimed, and just with that, we are now able to get ourselves the resources that we require. Here's another fight that we could pick up, but all in all, I want to talk now about a few other things, and that is research. So eventually, when your city is large enough, you gain a large build site, and then you are able to build either a, well, they are all called different in each culture. There's one research building that is focused on economy and one that is focused on, well, military things in the broadest sense. So you must choose then, therefore, either you want to have a research in that area or the other area, or if you want to have just the strongest troops of yours, that can be even sometimes upgraded 3 times. Well, that's a racial specialty, but usually you have only 2 tiers. But that is something that you need to evaluate. To give you an idea, there is always the ability to upgrade the power of your troops at the expense of resource. This is what the whole research mechanic is about. It's about dumping resource into permanent army bonuses. You can either upgrade certain troop types, so you can focus into a certain type of troop. You can also upgrade the quantity of the troop types that you can carry, because as you can see here, your wielders are limited in the amount of troops that they can carry around. When a wielder levels up, they gain 1 new skill to learn, or they level up one of their skills, or you choose the 3rd option, which is available always, to increase the total amount of troops that the wielder can carry around on himself. This is really, really important, as your army size is otherwise limited. Unlike other games, you can only pick up as many troops as you can fit onto your stack size. Therefore, these researches that either allow you to increase the stack sizes themselves, or by upgrading the quality of the stack sizes, well, it all matters a lot. So, I want to end this tutorial, because you basically now know the most important things, with a couple of thoughts. This game makes it impossible for you to build all of the troops all at once, because you have limited slots on your leaders, limited slots on your cities, and at the end of the day, this game wants you to specialize. Every 4 of the factions has the capability to field very different builds, and when you check out the wielders themselves, they all have a distinct specialization. Take that as an orientation where you want to take their build, and the rest, well, have fun with this game. It is very accessible. The very first missions are quite easy, but mastering it and getting more powerful to withstand the rush of higher difficulty levels is also a very thrilling thing. So, now you know everything you need to know to enjoy the game. I congratulate thee. The last thing that I want to say is don't sleep on the marketplace building that every faction has available. It is very powerful to buy you the resources that you require, and always hire as many wielders as you can. They don't cost any upkeep. They can carry around a lot of good things, and they can gather materials for you, explore the world. They are really, really the backbone of every army, and getting as many wielders as possible, as quickly as possible, should be always on your agenda. Right next on expanding your territory as fast as possible, because the more cities, the more troops. It is easy as that. So, thanks for watching. Drop me your comments down below. Leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and of course consider subscribing. I'd be very, very happy to have you. In the description box you will find a playlist link to all the tutorial things that I make for Songs of Conquest, so maybe you want to tune in for some more of the other stuff when I go a little bit more into detail, because this video was all only meant to show you the ropes so that you can play and enjoy the game and have the feeling that you've understood the basics. And I hope I did my job good. Check out also the links to Discord or Twitch if you want to join on in. I'd be very happy. Feel free to consider supporting Icon Gaming financially. A very, very big thanks to all you kind-hearted spirits out there who do so. I deeply appreciate, and most importantly, thank you for being around until the very end of the video. You guys mean terribly much to me, and thanks for staying along until the end. See you all next time. Bye-bye.